I didn't want to know the things I knew. It wasn't until I looked into the mirror. Denial. I didn't want. I remember that, the song, Denial. It's always funny when people talk about denial because they tend to be the Joker. And look, what the Joker is doing, it's a house of cards fallen. It's a house of cards fallen that the Joker has. Yeah. Good morning. Welcome back to the Leeds Celtic Fans View. It is the Glasgow Derby week. And it has to be said, some people don't seem to be handling the pressure too well this week. There's a video I'm about to show you. Of a Rangers player. Let's just get straight into it. Go right back to the beginning of this video. Make sure the volume's right up. And the Rangers fan, remember when they said that when Celtic lose the league, that quality. The infighting has started. The infighting has started. Celtic haven't fallen like a pack of cards. Nope. And we are not the Joker. We're not the Joker letting the cards fall to the ground. Yes, a few years ago, the Rangers owner at the time said, look, if we win the league, Celtic will fold like a pack of cards. It didn't happen. But this week, yes, the pressure of a Glasgow derby is getting far too much for some people. Hence, the lyrics came into mind from a song. I didn't want to know the things I knew. It wasn't until I looked into the mirror. Denial. They think that they're going to beat Celtic this weekend. The infighting has started. They are fighting with fans. They are fighting with the management team. The infighting seems to be doing one thing and giving a lot of Rangers fans a bit of denial. Yes. Jack Butland clashes with the Rangers fan and has to be dragged away. Jack Butland was filmed clashing with the Rangers supporter outside Ibrox and had to be ushered away. The goalkeeper exchanged angry words with a fan as he left the ground. Some people can't handle pressure. At this time of the season, Brendan Rodgers says, look, we're going to have some fun next week. Their team's in a fine place. The squad's in a fine place. The fan base are in a fantastic place. And when it comes to it, you get focused at this time of year and you focus on being together. And that's what Celtic fans know how to do, is get the team over the line. On the other side of the city, there has been a publication put out a statement FC, by the fans. Amid the toxic rumours of Alex Rae bust up with Rangers star, it's been quite a start to the all-firm week, hasn't it, Rangers fans? From a Rangers point of view, we're barely halfway through the week. Borach, minor scuffle with a supporter. Jack Butland criticising fans. Oh, the goalkeeper was only wanting to stop for an autograph. Clement going mental. Clement going mental at that tanned, fancy-wearing belt Celtic manager. Rangers players have begun and went on to engage with fans. It said there's nothing into the toxic rumours surrounding Alex Rae, Fabio Silva, nothing at all. There's nothing. It's nothing in it. It's media speculation, even though that is utter fantasy, we are saying it is utter fantasy. In response to a now deleted tweet about Alex Rae apparently having a bust up with Fabio Silva, Rangers insiders, 4 lads, they've been very clear, the rumours are utter fantasies. We have no issues with squad harmony, suggesting that everyone is totally focused on the old firm on Saturday. Indulging in this nonsense will only benefit the one side of Glasgow. That's brilliant, isn't it? It's absolutely brilliant. The meltdown, we're only on Wednesday. Happy hump day. We're over the hump of the week and it's onwards, downwards to the weekend and the big game of the season, the biggest game of the season until the last big game of the season, until the next big game of the season. Because let's face it, after this weekend, there's still even bigger games to come for Celtic because there is the games where we would become the champions of Scotland again for 3 years in a row. Now, it's not just the current Rangers squad and management team that seem to be stressing out about, to put it politely, stressing out about the weekend game. There is an ex-player, Stuart McCall. Stuart McCall reckons that there's only one way, and there's only one way to deal with you've got the feeling that they're deeply concerned about the game this weekend. Deeply concerned that Celtic are on a roll, and there's a player at Celtic that can absolutely boss that midfield and wind up the Rangers players. The Sevco in disguise. You're the Sevco in disguise. Yes, you are. Stuart McCall has given the Rangers a strategy to neutralise Celtic, and he's told Philip Clementine, oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling. We're in a sing song mood this morning, aren't we? To sort out Captain Cal McGregor, who normally runs the show. There's been a history of Celtic captains running the show for Celtic against the old co and the new co over recent years. And the name is Scott Brown, and basically just the one and only Callum McGregor is following in the footsteps of Scott Brown to dominate the game. Stuart McCall highlighted the importance of addressing McGregor's role effectively. People keep saying McGregor is back to his best for Celtic and is pulling the strings. I'd like to see somebody go and sort him out. For me, Sterling can do that, says McCall. In other words, he wants to do him damage. There's only that club would come out in public and say, it's going to take him out of the game. It's not the 1980s, Stuart. It's not the 1990s where you can do that kind of shit and just get away with it. Do you know what I mean? We know your club has been has in and around violent tendencies for a long time. But those days are kind of gone for football players, for goodness sake, where a player will go out and try and harm a player in the first 10 minutes of a game. Anyway, let's get to some Celtic news. Celtic have been linked with a defender. Yes, Celtic have been linked with Stoke City defender, and they said that the likely price tag will be between 5 and 7 million. It's interesting that Celtic have been linked with defenders when obviously we're going to get rid of Gustav Lagerbielke, which means it will leave us a little bit short in the back. We have Stephen Welsh, who's on a long-term contract. Talking about long-term contracts, there is a current Celtic player that looks like he's going to be getting a contract extension so that he will finish his career at Celtic, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But yes, the talk is that QPR defender Jake Clark-Slater is a top target for Celtic, and he will cost between 5 and 7 million. What does that say for Big Mark Nobroki? What does that say for him? Long term, that is. What does it say for him? Or maybe the manager is thinking, look, we really need 4 decent defenders at the club. And do you include Stephen Welsh in that? Well, Stephen Welsh is he's been at Celtic for a while. He's not really progressed as a player. You know, he's just signed a new long-term contract. Are Celtic seriously going to go in and spend between 5 and 7 million on another defender this season, this summer, going into the Champions League? I would think that we would need to, but I don't know enough about the QPR defender to warrant a reasonable comment on it. Anyway, one player I do know a lot about is a player that who's been written off many times and been told this season, that his time's up at Celtic. And a bit like a player before him, and the name is Scott Brown. Scott Brown was told when the current manager came into Celtic his first time around, his legs are gone, he's past it. And Scott Brown went on to have a bit of a tidy career, winning an over-exuberant amount of medals and championships, etc., in the remaining years of his football at Celtic. James Forrest is another one that comes under that radar, is another one that comes under the abuse of he's past it. But then James, he's not really wee, but he goes, hold that, let me on the pitch, bang, Bob's your uncle. Well, he's not your uncle, but it's just a saying, isn't it? But and then he goes and scores goals, and he does what James Forrest has done for in fact, I can't even remember the first year he started. Tell me in the comments the first year that James Forrest broke into the team. It's a long time ago. But anyway, James Forrest, it has been rumoured, is going to get a contract extension. James Forrest did sign a new contract in 2022. So he signed it on the 12th of May, 2022. And that contract took Jamesy Forrest up to the 31st of May 2025, which is next year, which means coming to this December, coming in 2024, James would be able to sign a new pre-contract agreement with another club. Celtic don't want that. The attacking winger that he is, the right-sided winger that he is, who was once valued at 8 million by Celtic. There you go, James Forrest. You could have got him for 8 million a few years back. Is now going to get a contract extension to keep him at Celtic for the rest of his career. Well, the rest of his playing days. And then I fully expect James to take a step into management. Now he can play on the left. He can play on the right. He can play on the left. He can play on the right. Jamesy Forrest, the wee man's all right. Oh, just off it today. It's brilliant. Anyway, James Forrest looks like he's going to get that new contract at Celtic, which is all good news. I fully expect Celtic to come out with some good news stories before the end of the week, just to get the media and take control of the narrative before we get into. I do expect Celtic to come out with some kind of happy news statement before the press conference on Friday. Something that we usually do towards the end of the season. So I fully expect it to be a contract extension for someone. Who it will be, we don't know yet. We'll just have to watch out for that one. Anyway, and other Celtic news, there's not a lot happening. Everything's fine and dandy this side of the city. Everything's falling apart like a pack of cards. Remember when they said that? If we win the league, they'll fall like a pack of cards. Well, guess what? You played the Joker. You didn't play the right card. You didn't play your ace card anyway. And on that note, have an absolutely fantastic. Before you go, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. There is no monetary value for me if you subscribe to the channel. It is free, and all it does is it makes it a nice big number. And make sure that you join us live. There's a new time for the live. If you haven't checked out the community tab, check out the community tab, and you'll see that the lives will now take place at 8 p.m. Celtic part-time from now on. And on that note, and I'll probably do, during the summer, we'll go back to doing early morning lives also for the fans around the world who, at that time of night, it's usually morning, but nighttime. Anyway, that's enough for today, isn't it? Have a fantastic day, Celtic fans all around the world.